I am normally very loud, so I am boomy. I'm going to cough a minute, that'll be a little cut.
Right.
So I soaked everything.
Wow.
It was water everywhere. Don't trip over the kitchen. You're not meant to be in that sofa. They are one of the best shoaling fish out of like all of them. Yes, this was my first terrarium.
Hi guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another video. So in today's video we got a special video. We're here with Matt and we're going to be doing a tour at his place. Right, we'll start at this tank here. So this, it looks like a cube tank to me.
It is, yeah. Scaper 60, I think.
Scaper 60, yeah. So from Superfish with a nice kit and everything.
Yeah, yeah. So they've got, I've put an extra filter on here at the moment because you can see I am suffering a little bit with algae in this one. I don't know why this tank is just, it's liking it growing. I think it might be the wood because it always starts in the wood. So I think it's the wood releasing nutrients.
This is wood from like out in the forest?
No, this is, what was this called? Talawa wood.
Talawa, okay.
Yeah, so it's a wood that you can buy, but I think it's this stuff has still got the bark on it. And I think the bark might be releasing nutrients and causing the algae because no other tank's got it. So yeah, well, hopefully.
Interesting one.
Yeah, but it's looking good. It's natural.
It looks natural. I mean, with the plant, you know, out to the top and the duckweed. Some
people will hate it, but that's a natural style for me. I quite like that. I quite like that sort of, and especially as the rosy loaches were actually breeding in, or looking like they were breeding in the algae the other day. So yeah, I think it's, you know, not all algae is bad. Yeah, some algae is good.
No, that's the thing.
But yeah, just a different few mixes of Buce Bowl in there.
Yeah.
My rare crypt. This is Crypt Nuri.
Okay.
So it's just starting to get its tiger stripes to the leaves, which are quite cool.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
But yeah, just a really simple tank, to be honest. I had to strip a lot of the hydrocotyle off of the top.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It was a massive bush ball of it, but I had to strip it off because that's where the hair algae was getting locked up.
Yeah.
So yeah, this tank's a bit of work in progress, but it's still
all right.
Yeah, it does the job, and the fish are happy. That's all that matters for me at the end of the day. You know, there would be algae in their natural environment, so it's not a problem for it to be in here.
Definitely, yeah. No, very nice. Let's move on to the next tank, I think.
This one
here.
Yeah, so this is our Habistax tank. So these were the plastic tubes.
Yeah.
Actually, you've got a couple up on the shelf there, look.
Oh yeah, we got some
there. So they're just planted up plastic tubes, essentially.
Yeah.
That a company called Habistax are trying to launch into the world. Yeah. And yeah, you can see it's doing really well.
It is doing really well. Like you wouldn't even think there's any plastic in there or like, you know, anything holding it.
That's the nice thing is you don't have to worry about hardscape. You don't have to think about the wood and the rocks and trying to angle it all correctly. Plant up the tubes, chuck it in, let it grow, and you end up with it looking like this. So.
Yeah, really nice. And then you got the beautiful Betta here.
Yeah, so he's Galaxy Betta, I think, and he is an angry little man. He's always out at the front, causing grief, chasing me, and he's definitely brave, that one.
Does he have a name? Or is it...
No, he doesn't. No, he's not had a name yet, to be fair. And you know, if people want to comment, we can give him a name on this video.
Do you usually name your fish or rarely? Like
now and again, yeah. If I get attached to a fish, like him, he would get a name at some point. Yeah. But it normally comes quite like organically. It normally like I start calling them something.
Yeah, you call them something.
Probably something that I can't put on camera most of the time because he's tried to bite me. But most of the time they do end up with names. Obviously things like the little celestial pearl danios in here.
Yeah, you got those.
Yeah, I don't really give them names because it would be almost like 1, 2, 3.
It's like
that's Bob. That's Gerald. That's Gary.
I know that's a bit over the top.
Yeah,
indeed,
but yeah, certainly fish that like that, I do give them a lot of names normally. But I'm happy for your viewers to give him a name if they want.
Okay,
yeah, let's hear it.
Cool,
let's hear it. But yeah, there's just a few other bits in here. A few not yo-yo loaches at all. They're dwarf chain loaches. So that's they're in there, and my Corydoras as well from my big tank downstairs are in there. Oh yeah. Trilineatus,
and a huge Amano shrimp.
Yeah, got some chunky Amanos. There's some old ones that have been in here for absolutely ages.
Yeah.
And again, Amanos are one of those fish that when I move tanks, I'm like, oh, there's a few Amanos. I'll move them to the next tank. There's always Amanos or cherry shrimp in my tanks hanging around. And then that was my test. I wanted to see if I could test. I printed it on my printed it, and then I put a feeding block in the middle of it. So that they can pick the food out of it. Yeah, it's a little bit of fun. I just wanted to do something funny, really.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's different, isn't it?
It is definitely different. So yeah, nice.
I'll let you. Do you want to swap sides so you can get closer?
So we get over here.
The reflection on this one can be a bit of a problem with the camera.
It's all right. We can see the idea. Yeah.
Yes, this is a black water that I set up a little while ago now. So I wanted wanted to go for everything being like oranges and reds, so we went with like the I can't remember what this rock's called, spider's web, I think some people call it, or maple stone.
Yeah,
that's another one.
Yeah.
So I went with all oranges and reds, and the first initial planting was all orange and red as well.
Right.
And then I finished the video. It looked good, but it just looked too red. And everyone in the comments were like, "Oh, you need some green in there." So that's
how you put green in.
And
that's
now
Hygrophila rosanan.
That's it. Yeah, it's a beautiful plant. It's probably one of my favourite stem plants.
It is really nice
because it's green, and then when it gets up to the surface, you get that pinky red.
Pinky red.
Yeah. So, and again, like these are planted in some seed pods.
Right.
So I zip tied the seed pods to the trees.
Yeah.
And then just planted all these house plants into that. Yeah. So it worked really well.
Cool. You can see here the kind of
so that's a basket that I got. So that's from a company called Clip and Grow.
Yeah.
And they're perfect because you can just clip them to the side. That one I done so that I could see how well it does, and I think those plants are only a few weeks old in that basket, and you can see the roots coming out.
The roots are going down in the substrate.
Yeah,
really.
So it's really cool.
That is insane.
Yeah, really nice little setup, and especially those little baskets. They're perfect for that sort of setup.
Definitely.
But yeah, it's quite nice. Really. It's a little bit of a sunken sort of foresty vibe.
Yeah, it's got that natural vibe to
it. Just rummy noses in there at the moment, and pencil fish. So the pencil fish sort of lurking amongst it.
I can see them,
Yeah, so they're doing really well.
Yeah, lovely.
I sort of keep toying with the idea of putting other fish in here, but I just quite like the rummy noses like and that,
You know, I think rummy noses are one of my favourite schooling fish. Yeah. I've said it quite a few times, but like, especially if, like, this is a relatively small tank, but if you have them in a big, massive tank, 6 foot, like going backwards and forwards. I have them in there right now in my jewel.
Yeah, you need a good number of them, and they just buzz back and forth. They are one of the best shoaling fish out of like all of them. Like, there's very few other fish in the hobby that shoal like a rummy nose do.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. Yeah. I mean, you can have neon tetras, but then they're more scattered around, you know?
Yeah, they sort of end up getting confident, don't they? And they just sort of bunch up. But I don't know what it is with rummy noses. They've got that typical... When you see the National Geographic video of sharks chasing down something, and they've got that movement.
They've got the same movement.
Yeah, no, it's the only fish that does it, I think, personally.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, they are cool.
Sure. Right, cool. Then we got one tank over here.
Yeah, so we've got cherry tree with the cherry barbs.
With the cherry barbs, I can see.
So they're quite cool.
Cool.
So this tank's quite new, so it's just going through its little bit of algae bloom stage on the sand and stuff. But
I can see.
It'll go through over the next couple of days once it burns itself out. I actually thought I lost one of the males because he disappeared for a good day.
Yeah.
And then I realised that they're all hiding in under the tree. So at night time, they go up in under, and there's loads of little gaps in the moss. And they've just been hiding up in there. So I woke up one morning, turned the light on, and there was no fish. And I'm like, oh no, have they all jumped out?
Wow.
But yeah, then slowly as the lights turn on and the day wakes up, they all start coming out again. So it takes them a bit of time. But
yeah, what I notice here, at least comparing to my cherry bobs that I have in the shop at home, my males are way redder.
Yeah.
Like I mean, this is a male here, I think.
And he's very pale.
Very pale.
I'm hoping it's just time and that they're not a bad batch.
Could be, yeah.
Because they almost go that like really dark, almost a purple, but not it's a weird colour that they go. But I'm just hoping that they take, like when they went in, the males were like almost silver.
Right.
So I'm hoping that it's just a matter of a few more weeks and letting them settle down.
Yeah.
And that's why I added the plants. So when I initially planted this, it just was the tree and the rocks.
Yeah.
But then when I put the fish in there, I looked at it and I'm like, do you know what? It's just not right for them.
Because,
I need more
it's
plants.
like a bit empty. Like, you know, if we wouldn't have that, it's like a bit empty. It's just a tree and
this is it. It was scapey. It was quite cool because it was like a proper aquascape with a tree and this big rocky mountain, but it just didn't, it's not for me. I need other plants in there to make the fish happy.
Definitely, yeah.
So yeah, it definitely finished it off having those few little plants in there.
Yeah, very cool. Right, I think we'll move downstairs.
Should we go downstairs and look at stuff?
We got the bowl, actually.
Yeah,
we got the bowl.
And the quarantine tank with nothing in.
Nothing in there.
Yeah, it's just running.
So we got the bowl here, which I think is really cool. At least I really like it.
Yeah, so when it was first set up, it was like a lava stone crater essentially, but you can hardly see the crater now. You just see the sort of bits of lava stone poking out.
Yeah, exactly. Like
there is probably about 80 quid's worth of Buce in there though.
I was just about to say, like,
it was an expensive bowl.
Definitely.
But the good thing is I knew they're hardy plants, they're easy to care for.
Yeah.
I knew that I couldn't do much wrong.
No.
So I knew that like it was a safe investment, I suppose. If I want to use those plants in another tank, I can.
That's true. That's definitely true, you know.
And I like how the lava stone's growing the algae in there. If you look at the back, there's this like weird minty green
like
algae.
This, that stuff there.
It's just so cool.
That is kind of cool and weird. Like, you think that's like a rock you'd buy. It's like for special, you know, that has been specially done like that.
Yeah, some aquascaping rock. But no, it's just the algae that black lava stone is growing.
Yeah. So are there any shrimp in here?
There's a group. I took the... What colours did I take out? So there was 2 reds in there, but I didn't have any male red cherries downstairs. Right. So there's 2 blacks, 2 oranges and 2 yellows left in here. Really juvenile ones.
Yeah.
But the light is essentially about 4 hours ahead because I've turned it on for you turning up.
So
they're not woken up yet, so I've not seen them all morning, but they are in there somewhere.
No, very cool.
Alongside a load of ruby red ram's horn snails, I think.
And they got the little was it the smart?
What do they call that one?
Filter Smart?
Filter Smart 60, I think it's called,
Because I've seen people use this for like water changes and like sucking out the debris and then...
They're great little filters, to be honest. Like, and you know, not that the bowl would probably need it. Like, there's enough lava stone in there to create surface area and stuff. But I just quite like having a filter on there because it does make it cleaner.
It does make it cleaner.
When I've had the filter off in the past and I do a water change, when I pour the water in, you get this big plume of muck, like sort of appearing from amongst the Buce Bowl. But whereas when the filter's running, I don't get any of that.
No,
so the filter is just picking up that waste.
Does pick up that waste,
And like I said always, you know, you can do stuff without filters. It's possible. People have been doing it for years.
Yeah.
I just find having a filter sometimes it's like playing the game on easy mode. It's
exactly.
Like,
it's just
like if you want to sit down and chill out, put a filter on it. If you want to be worrying about it and like tinkering with it, then don't. But it's a cool little tank. It's a little bit different.
Very cool.
I'm getting itchy with it though. I want to change it.
You want to change it because
Buce doesn't do anything.
No, it just, you know, once you've seen it, it's a slow grower and it's
sort of stays the same for a long time. There's no trimming to be done. But that's probably a good thing because I just leave that bowl alone.
Yeah, true.
I probably shouldn't change it because if I remember I had stems in that originally and I was trimming it every day.
Like, that's mad.
Yeah, it's cool.
Anyway, cool. Let's move downstairs now.
Let's have a look.
Right, so this is the axolotl tank down here.
Yes, this is where they will live.
Yeah. All the axolotls.
So we've got a little bit of cyno, but that's because obviously you can't keep any algae eaters or any fish that will move the sand around.
No, they'll just munch them up.
That's it. But again, I leave my tanks to go natural, you know. They don't need to be hard work.
No.
It's more for me about enjoying the animals that live in there, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. Because I know you have been keeping axolotls for quite a while.
Yeah,
I think, you know.
Yeah.
Even before fish or, you know, like...
no, fish first. And then my wife loved axolotls, like absolutely adored them. So I had a friend who was breeding them and I got, I don't know, so this is one of my originals and the golden one was an original.
Okay.
And when I got them, they were probably no bigger than their heads.
Right.
So they were tiny when we got them. They were living in a little 60-litre tank we had in our kitchen. Weren't big at all. And then, we've had them, crikey, it must be 10 years, I guess. I can't even remember. I did look at the photos originally to find out how long we had had them.
Wow.
But yeah, they're quite cool.
Because they get quite old then.
They do, yeah. I think, you know, I've seen people saying they live like 20, 30 years sort of thing, some people. So, you know, it's, I think they're one of those animals, they don't move much. They're a bit like a tortoise, you know, they don't move much, they don't do much. And they probably keep all their energy for living a really long life.
Yeah, because what I've heard from people who keep axolotls, they breed quite easily. Yeah. Have you had any breeding?
So we've got Tropiquaria Zoo, which is just down the road from us. Yeah. Sean, who's the head aquarium guy down there, he's actually got babies from these guys from last year. Okay. Because I dropped a load of eggs off to him. Yeah, I don't really have the time to be messing around with them. But maybe this year, maybe next year if they spawn again. But once they've spawned once, they're more than likely to spawn again. These guys have spawned pretty much every year for the last few years now.
Wow.
That's our female. That's one of our males.
One male.
There's another female in there somewhere, and that's another male as well. Yeah, but there's a cave system that goes underneath that piece of wood, and she is the same colour as this one, so she blends in really well. Like,
I don't think I can see.
The gold one can get under there, and he disappears under there, and I've had a few times where I thought he has gone missing. So it's just like I say, a bit of a natural tank. I let it do what it wants to do. I test the water. I make sure the axolotls are happy and healthy, and that's pretty much all I do, to be honest.
I mean, it looked really, like if you would take a snapshot of this and look in nature, it probably looked quite similar.
Exactly, this is it.
I mean, maybe a bit less plants even, I don't know, because
they're from quite high lakes up in Mexico. So originally they were. They're actually not there anymore because most of the lakes are gone.
Right.
They've been drained for human activity.
Right. Yeah.
So there's not much natural habitat left for these guys. When one of my friends who went over there, they found them in a lot of drainage ditches, living in the cities, and they were like living in the sort of drains.
Yeah.
So it's just they're just about anywhere that they can hang on now in the wild. But these guys, it's weird because these guys aren't like the species that these are. They don't think exist because these are possibly a crossbreed between several different species, and it's all a bit messy, to be honest. You wouldn't be able to reintroduce these ones into the wild because they're not sure on their like parent lineage sort of thing. They think a lot of the ones in the trade come from I think it was something like 10 that were imported to the Netherlands back in the 80s or something. It's got a weird story behind it. But I can't remember where and when.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah, different. Yeah, they're not a fish keeper. They're not a like active animal though. No, so if you want something interesting, do not get an axolotl because they do this.
They just do that. They just they just sit there.
They're one of those animals that's like wow.
Much. Yeah.
And then you walk away.
No. But I can imagine for if you've got any kind of people over, really, they'd be like, wow, that's cool.
This is the tank that they go to first because they wonder what on earth it is.
In there? Yeah.
Fish is a fish to most non-fish keepy people, but an underwater lizard thing that's like that they see is a bit like, what is that? Yeah. Especially the weird gold one.
Because he's got they got the feet and then they got the was it like gills? Lung,
external gills.
External gills. They do look really cool.
Yeah, different.
And prehistoric they look, basically.
They do, don't they? I always think they look like How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah, it is, definitely. All right, cool.
Next one. Got this one.
Yeah.
So this is the rare Tetra tank that me and MD Fish Tank set up probably 2 years ago now. Yeah. So there's been a few changes and a few additions, but the Tetras are all still there. The Kyberzes are the biggest, nastiest Tetra that I've ever had the misfortune of keeping. They're not that bad. They're just crazy.
They are massive though.
And they've got some teeth on them as well.
Okay.
I've put some photos up that I've managed to get close up of their face, and they have got proper little piranha teeth to them. But it's a cool little tank. Got some nice rainbow Emperor Tetras, which are nice. So they always look really good when they're showing off. And then obviously my festive cichlids that are cool. Out and about. Anyone who's following me, obviously there's one with fungus that isn't out at the moment, but he's living behind the rocks. So he's still fine, and he still comes out every now and again to feed, and the fungus is cleared up. So I'm hoping he's going to be okay.
He'll be all good now.
Yeah, we've got some snow white bristlenose in there.
Yeah, they're really cool.
They're one of the sort of newer strains, I suppose you would say, of bristlenoses. I didn't know if I liked them at first. Yeah. Because, in all honesty, when I was working in the shop and we had them, I always thought they were unalive because they look like a fish that's been in the water too long. Yeah. And every time I walked past their tank, I was like, oh my word, one's died. They're just white. But I quite like them now, weirdly. Now that I've bought a little group of 5, so I've got 1 male and 4 females, so I need to look after that male. Right. He needs to be okay. But it's a little bit different. And there is actually, see if we can get them out. There is some absolutely crazy South American bumblebee cats in here that do come out every now and again. That's way too much food.
Just a bit of food in there.
Yeah, chuck some in. They normally come out for it.
Oh, and those are the special live bearers, aren't they?
Oh yeah, those are San Marcos split fins. So they're what's their common name? I can't remember now. But they're the ones. So you can get one with just blue and orange, and that one has the gold in the middle. Right. So he should get a lot more colourful than the normal ones do. So they're quite cool. Male and female pair that I picked up from a fish auction absolutely ages ago. Yeah. And the female's looking preggo now, so I'm hoping to get her out.
Yeah, and get a few babies.
Yeah. There you go, there's a South American bumblebee. So there's a group of 6 of these in there, and they literally only come out at feeding time. And
they are really cool fish.
They're wicked, aren't they?
Yeah.
I've only, up until about a week ago, I'd only ever seen 3, and I thought I'd lost them. Yeah. And then I stood here the other day and I fed, and really I bought them for my wife because she really likes them, weirdly. Like a brown, boring fish that hides away a lot. But it was quite I was quite happy with that, a choice from her. Yeah. But then all 6 came out the other day, and I've seen all 6 in one go, so I know they're all still there now. I was a bit worried for a time.
No, that's really cool. And well, it does also show like how quickly fish can sense food is in the water. Oh yeah, because they come out in like a split second. That was.
And again, this is a time like this light shouldn't be on for another probably 3 hours, 4 hours. So they're still a little bit like unsure of what's going on.
What's going on?
The light is on way earlier than it normally is. There you go. There's 2 of them down there now. One of the big fat females has come out. Yeah, again, really cool. I quite like having those fish in there because people don't see them, and then people start talking to you about your fish tank, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, have a look at these. There is a group of 3 clown plecos, but I've only ever seen them about 3 times in the 2 years this tank's been running. I know they're all still in there.
They are, but you just don't see them, like, you know.
There's so many plants, and
like this massive...
The big piece of bogwood that's in there is hollow, so they can go right up inside it, so... Yeah.
So do you find any issues with that being hollow, like detritus and stuff being stuck in there?
All the time.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Yeah, obviously the intake for the filter's that end, so all I do is I drain it down and then I flush some water up there, or I get the siphon in there and siphon a little bit out. And it's not too bad, to be honest. Yeah, there's worse problems to be dealing with.
Yeah. So you got plans for changing this soon, or?
Yeah, so the festives are going to move. I've got a big 300-litre cube that I'm going to move them into, I think.
Yeah.
Then this, I've got plans, I think, to do some really big cobbles. And I mean, like, I'm probably going to fill up half the tank with massive cobbles. And I want a group of about 20 Hillstream Loach in there. And maybe something like Zebradanios. Or like, I don't know, like something rivery.
So cold water setup.
Yeah, I think that would be quite cool to show people that, like, you know, you can do a big cold water setup that's really nice.
Something that doesn't have to break the bank, really.
Exactly.
I mean, the Hillstreams are expensive, at least.
But you could buy, you know, it's one of those things. You don't have to buy all the Hillstreams in one go. No, you buy 2 and then another 2 and another 2. Yeah, it's not too bad. So that's my plan. But as with everything, things change. And I see a fish in a shop. Like, I went to a shop the other day and they had African dwarf frogs at like
those are cool.
silly cheap. Yeah. And I was like, do I need a group?
Do I need a few?
Do I need a group? I don't need a group, do I? And I nearly walked out with a group of Congo frogs, but no, I might at some point. Yeah. But that's always the problem with me. I see all these interesting fish.
These things. Because do you find you still go often to like fish shops and things like that?
Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah, all the time. And obviously, because I'm on Instagram a lot, I see a lot of the guys and girls that are posting photos of their fish and what they've got in. So, all the time I'm seeing cool things. And it's
that's the
hard.
thing with me, what I found now I've got everything available at hand, what I need. I don't find myself going to shops that often because I don't need anything. So I'm like, the only reason to go would do either a tour or like just have a little look around. But
I still find, I found the excitement back a bit because I'm not involved as much in it. I can go to a shop now and I'm a little bit more like, I haven't seen them in a while and haven't seen them in a while. So it's nice. It's having a bit of a break from the fish shop because, like you say, you could just go, I'll order 10 of them. Exactly. I'll have 20 of them.
Like that. That is definitely, you know, a difference that, well, I might develop in coming years, but at least for now, I think that like beginning spark, you know, of setting up is a bit gone down.
That's my stir-bys. I've got some old ones. So these are from a discus tank that I had probably 8 years ago. Really so these are the last. I think there's like 3 left in here, bless them.
I mean, I've got a few Corys, the albino ones.
Oh, yeah.
And they are like 5 years old, I think, as well, but massive, like chunky. And they just do well, you know, they're fine.
Well, that's the thing. If I ever change this round, it's like I've got plans for a 300-litre black water cube. So a lot of this will probably move into that. And then some of the other stuff will move around. So, I think it'll be cool.
No, really cool. Let's move on to the next tank.
Yeah, so this one, a new style of tank, all built in, filtration, light units, heaters. It's all built into one plug, and I wanted to have a bit of a play with it.
Right.
And I thought, do something a little bit different. So we got some blue bowls from IKEA really nice. And planted them up. Cool. I did have panda guppies in here with the panda shrimp that are in here.
Right.
Irritatingly, as I was discussing with you earlier, I can't get male guppies to survive. Yeah. And not survive, but the females don't give off any males. So my male was in here for ages, and he finally sort of passed away, and all I was left with was females. So they've moved now, and I've put in some little thread fin rainbows. So I've got a good group of females in there, and then I think 3 males.
Yeah, I can see. Definitely an underrated fish, because I've had these also a couple of times, and they really cool. And especially once you get them, you know, they can get quite big.
Oh yeah, they get chunky.
Get quite chunky. because I saw Frankie Jones had some, and I saw them, and they're quite chunky, you know.
Yeah, that's what I plan. Grow them up in here for a bit, let them settle, and then I'll get them into a bigger tank. Oh, there is a Tetra as well. This random Tetra that's up the top here. Oh, you might be able to see him. He's got his back to us at the moment. So there you go. One, so that is from the Tetra tank next door. Right. And I was sat editing a video at midnight, and I saw this little fry swim out of a plant. And I managed to catch him out, and I think he's a red line. I think he's one of the red lines from that tank. So that's quite cool. But he's just growing up in there. There is a really nice group of panda shrimp, but
I can see one right down here.
There you go.
Take a look at those. I mean, I don't know how good it will focus, but I can see them there.
Yeah, and there's also
really,
a really
nice coloration.
Yeah, they're stunning. There's a group of about 8. I haven't had any babies off them yet, but none of them have been buried. So I'm just hoping that eventually...
Then you got some females as well.
I know. You know that'll always be the way. I've done it with cherries recently, where I've had like all females or all males. So, yeah. And then my random bronze cherry thing that appeared from nowhere, like wild coloration.
Yeah, I can see that in there.
Don't know why where that came from, but probably from some plants that I took from another tank.
Probably.
But it's a nice little tank. The blue bowls just give something different for people to look at, and something different for people to like have a play with.
It is a bit different.
You don't have to keep it, and loads of people have done it before me, but you don't have to keep it standard. It doesn't need to be rocks and wood.
You can do something different and change it up a little bit.
Exactly.
You know? So, really cool, really cool. So we got this one up next.
Yeah, so this is the Waterfall Bowl that I'd done a little while ago. So still working really well, but I was getting ready for you coming today. Yeah. And so I thought, I'll give it a quick clean. And in my video, if anyone's watched it, when I turned this waterfall on for the first time, it sprayed up in the air and it went up about a foot in the air and landed on the table and everything got really wet. There's a tap on the filter. And I went, why is there a tap on? I don't need a tap on the filter. So I took it off last night, forgetting why it was on there, and turned it on. And so I soaked everything. Wow. It was water everywhere. And then this was like at 10 o'clock last night, because I was just doing a quick top up. And then I poured the water back in and uprooted all the hair grass.
I can see.
It needs time to settle again now, bless it. Yeah. But the waterfall's still running. You know. The peace lily is out competing every other plant in the tank and keeps taking nutrients out of the water. So I might need to take that one out.
Take a bit out.
And
although it does look beautiful.
It looks cool. You know, but it's just taking nutrients and lights away from the Aquarius. This was doing really well until it started getting overshadowed by that. Yeah. But it's still cool.
It is still cool, definitely.
And it's you roll with it, don't you? Something different changes. You change the plants. You change the tank. It just does what it does.
So was shrimp in here? Or
there's a group of black. So I separated everything out. So these are just black shrimp in here now. So you'll see.
Right there.
Yeah, we've had babies in here, but I tried. At first, this was like a Skittles mixed shrimp tank. Yeah. And in the end, I sort of managed to hook out a lot of the reds and the yellows to move to different tanks. Like up in the black water, actually, the rummy nose tank. There's all really shrimp in that one. Right. That we didn't see, but they're. I've separated them all out now. So hopefully these are just the black strain in here now.
That'd be cool.
That's what I was thinking. Try and keep it a bit more standard.
Let's go here first.
Let's do that. Let's see. Let's see. Are they on the cucumber? Oh yeah, they're on the cucumber. Look. So that's perfect. Come over here now. If you can focus on the little dudes. Yeah. Yeah. So this was my first terrarium.
First terrarium.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Just something different to do, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Have a little bit of fun with.
It is like a biob thing, which people usually put fake plants in, and if that's your style, fine,
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. If you want that at home, then that works for you. But the biob airs are designed obviously to grow all these tropical sort of plants in, and they keep the humidity high in there. I've also just learned, I was talking to someone the other day, and you can actually, if you extend the pipe on the back, you can fill these up a little bit with water, supposedly.
So like a Paludarium.
Yeah, if I'd known that before, it might have changed my mind. But I'm going to let these guys live in here for a little bit longer. Yeah. Once the plants take over and you can't see in there, because this thing's already grown up, and that purple thing at the back's already growing. So I think give it another probably 6 months, and this will just be a ball of plant. And once it's that, then I'll probably change it over. And don't know if I think the mist maker's got water in it today. Yeah, the mist maker's got water, so you can turn the mist maker on, and that keeps the humidity up in there.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah, it's just a cool little setup.
Yeah, really nice.
And I went with proper, like, I let my boy choose all these plants. So we went to the shop and he was like, pink one, white one, stripy one, purple furry one. Yeah. So yeah, we ended up with all sorts of weird and wacky plants. Looks like a bit alien, but
you know, it looks cool. And
it's different, isn't it?
A bit different. Right, so we've got the rack here.
Yep.
Let's start with, should we start with shallow?
Yeah, we can start with the shallow. Yeah. So this was all planted around this tree. So this tree, essentially, I found in a garden centre, and they grow it on lava stone. Right. So they grow the tree on lava stone, let the roots sort of form over the lava stone, and then, they sort of grow it like that. So I broke it off the pot, put it in at an angle, and then we've got it growing. It's doing all right.
Yeah, it's doing all right, definitely.
Throwing out so many roots. Like you can see the root there.
You can see all the roots there. And
all coming off of it.
All coming off.
And then we've just got my female guppies in here that don't want to give me any boys.
Don't want to give any boys.
Yeah. So there is some cool snails in here as well. We've got some of the blueberry snails, but I only see them once every few weeks. Yeah. And they've got like a blue foot with orange spots all over them.
Right.
So they're really funky and a little bit different. But yeah, they're weird because they give off one live young per month.
Okay.
And I watched the other day, I've got a bit of video on my phone at like 2 a.m. It had come to the front and it had been sat there for about a day or so. Wow. And then all of a sudden it scooted off and there was a little baby sat there. Wow. But yeah, I don't see them at the moment, but they're cool little snail.
And the Amazon frogbit on the top.
Yeah, that's it.
Nicely.
Yeah, that grows like absolute weeds, to be honest. I sort of throw this about everywhere, so you
fair. That's the thing with, I've kept like, you know, floating plants before, and they've always not done very well for me. Like it's just always, like they do fine in the start and then they'll like die off all of a sudden.
That's it. They're a funny one, to be fair. Like on my Axolotl Tank, even though that's high in nutrients, they don't really like it. No. But that's because I close the lids. Yeah. If I open the lids and let air get to it, they almost like, it's almost like they get too damp and like too fungusy. Yeah. But once you've got them in an open top tank like this, I'm stripping these out.
Maybe that is the thing, because I don't do open top tanks that much. I've got like one or two.
I find they grow way better like this than they do in any other tank. Like the other tank that you'll see in a minute, that had water lettuce in it last night, and the roots were like a foot long. But it's just because it's open top. I think they do far better in a warm room with an open top, and this gets natural sunlight in the mornings as well. So you know, the Anubias is looking cool at the back.
I mean, that's growing out of the top and everything. And
the mosses that I put in from the garden have definitely brought some weird things in.
Something.
But I'm just going to let it grow.
Yeah, just let it grow. If there's no harm, you know.
If it turns into a dandelion, I'll take it out. But yeah, it's growing all right at the moment. It's just, and again, the shallow tanks are a little bit different.
They are.
I've always wanted one, and I've always wanted to try it.
I think I want to try one day. Yeah. Don't know in what kind of style or setup yet, but they're pretty cool. And
it's just something a bit different. And again, you know, people have these sort of rectangular tanks. That's just a little bit different rectangle.
Then we've got a little...
Oh yeah, we've got our little water feature bowl.
Water feature. Let me see if I can
Hang on, I can take the vases out of the way. These are my next projects, look.
Next project.
I've picked them all up from the charity shop. Yeah. So. But yeah, it's just, again, just showing people that you don't have to spend, like, loads of people want to get into fish keeping. Yeah. Or not necessarily fish keeping, but like aquascaping and messing around and having some fun. You know, that cost me, I don't know, like the rocks are a couple of quid. The glass jar was, I think, £3 from a charity shop. There's a little $6.99 pump from Amazon on it.
Yeah, so it's hardly anything.
It's probably a 30 quid project.
Exactly.
And I had fun for an afternoon, messed around with it. And now I've got the other half of the jar that I was going to put on top. Yeah. But now I'm going to do something in there.
Something different, yeah. And you know, like, say you're a student or whatever, and you've only got a tiny space. You know, something like this would work.
Someone said that to me in the comments. He's like, oh, I'm going to make some of these for my, I think it was his daughter's, like, university dorm room. Yeah. He said, because she really likes having the tanks and the paludariums and stuff, but she can't
But it's just too big. Like, you know, something like this would even be too big if you've got a tiny, small space, you know?
Exactly. So, and that, you know, you could rip it apart, change it in 20 minutes, half an hour, and you've got something new. Buy some new rocks or a bit of wood, change it up. Yeah. I think it's just fun, and it's showing people that they don't have to spend thousands of pounds.
For sure. And we've got this tank up here.
This is our alien Betta. It's gone a little bit weedy at the moment, but again, I just sort of let it go and let it do what it wants. It's quite a natural looking tank. So it is home to that alien Betta that you see there, and about half a dozen Amano shrimps.
Right.
But again, because it sort of stays clean, it's just a black water tank, so there's lots of leaf litter in there breaking down.
Yeah, I can see, yeah.
And I just keep it quite sort of natural, really.
He's got a lot of plants and stuff.
Yeah, we've got some rickia and some water lettuce. Like the water lettuce last night was insane. How much it was growing. It's actually, I think, starved the monstera that's starting to die on top.
Oh yeah, I can see there's a...
It was doing really well, and then, these water lettuce.
Oh yeah, wow. Like, take a look at the length of them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. For a small tank like this.
That's it, and it was all in the front here, so it was literally
it was just blocking everything.
Yeah, but it's really clean because of it. Like, all the crypts and the anubiuses are really clean.
Yeah, because the crypts and the anubius don't need much light.
No,
they do better with lower light than too much, because there's no algae on the leaves and stuff
exactly.
like that.
They're the cleanest anubiuses I've got in my house. As soon as you've got like lots of light on top of them, they just get so much algae.
Well, that's like, you know, I've got a bit of Java fern, and sometimes people even give it to me because they've got so much. I just throw it in a little, you know, bucket under the tanks, under the rack, and then
almost forget about it, sort of thing, isn't it?
And then you think, oh, I got all of that, but it looks lovely, and it's like, oh, good.
Yeah, he's a nice little guy. It doesn't show up very well. His blue coloration is really hard to film.
Yeah, you need really good...
I think I'm going to do a new setup for him where I can actually see his colours better.
Because he's got really beautiful colours.
He's stunning. In real life, he's amazing.
He just looks like a black,
it's
fish.
odd.
I think we've got the ponds outside.
Yeah, do you want to see the ponds?
Yeah.
So there was 9 ton of stone that went into this build.
Wow.
A couple of them were, so that one there is... I had 3 in a pallet, essentially.
Yeah.
So I don't worry, they're my boys. He kills them all the time and steps on them and breaks them, so don't worry about it. But yeah, there was 3 in a pallet, and the pallet came to a ton. And so that was one of the rocks, and the others are down in the bottom of the pond, sort of thing. This is one of them here, actually.
One of them there.
That was another 300 kilo rock.
Wow.
But it's just a bit of a natural designed pond.
It's definitely natural, that's for sure.
Yeah, I just let and again, I sort of let happen what happens. Whatever grows. I sort of cultivate it and tidy it up as I need to. I just let nature take its course and see what turns up. There's frogs and newts and water boatmen and diving beetles and all sorts of stuff that rocks up here. Yeah,
so all kind of natural stuff that you would find in the surrounding area and stuff.
Exactly.
I think there's a frog right by...
yes, there is. You are.
There's
3. 4.
Oh yeah, there's tons.
Look at them all.
Look at them. Look, I got them all on video now.
Yeah, there's loads
tons of them. So you'd get a lot of frog spawn as well, I guess.
So we had weirdly they laid in a bucket this year.
Okay.
But the pond, they don't like laying in the pond because of the moving water.
Yeah.
So they laid in a bucket, and then we had all the froglets survive, and we built a little pond for them on the far side of the garden, which is just like a little raised pond. So the frog spawn didn't have a pump or anything to contend with. But yeah, just again, like I say, I just let everything grow naturally. I sort of go in and chop some bits back and then cut some bits down when I need to. But yeah, really, I just let it be.
You'd probably find that stuff in the summer months grows quite fast.
Oh yeah, like this. There's a video on my channel of introducing this pond.
Yeah.
And it was barren, brown. And then 2 months and it's back going mental.
Yeah. All right, and then we got...
Do you want to see the little one?
A little one over there.
Yeah, so if you... This is Blagden. So Blagden make these ponds as little nature ponds.
Yeah, they're really cool.
Yeah, funky. But they just have a little solar powered pump on them. It's not getting much sunlight today. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Right in front here. That's by this water lettuce.
Oh yeah, I can see.
There's a baby.
There, right.
So this is where the frog spawn went, because we just needed somewhere for it to survive.
Right by there, yeah.
Yeah. So there's been dragonfly larvae that have come out of this. There's been a little newt that we found a couple of times in here. Yeah. The adult frogs sometimes live in here, so there's a couple normally hiding in amongst this plant sort of thing. But yeah, it's just again, it's another bit of natural area for the frogs and the newts and everything to sort of call home. It just gives them a bit of a slower moving area that they can live in.
And the water lettuce does really good here.
It goes mental in the summer. Obviously it dies off in the winter and all disappears, but I just let it sort of go nuts while it does. Keeps the pond clean.
Definitely.
But again, I leave it alone. Oh, there's an adult.
Yeah. Oh, and gone.
Yeah, didn't want to see you.
Oh, right. There's another one, or maybe.
Maybe the same one.
Maybe
Who
the
knows?
same one. You don't know.
But I quite like that. And Quinn, my boy, loves it. He comes out here and just stands by this and just constantly looks in it. So yeah, it's quite cool.
I mean, it's nice at like low levels. So,
this is it. That's why the net's there, because he's constantly like catching things out and trying to find different bugs and stuff.
And is that Is that part of the
yeah,
pond?
so that's part of the pond. So it's got a little
ramp
and then a little step in and a little planter. So
and there's a frog there as well.
Oh god, yeah, in amongst the mint.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got frogs everywhere in here.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
But yeah, it just gives them somewhere different to live, and
nice
I quite like all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, just a nice little nature pond project.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. All right, guys. Anyway, that is the end of the tour. Thank you, Matt, for showing me around and everything like that.
Anytime at all. You're more than welcome.
All the links of Matt and everything will be in the description, so check it out. Most of you will know Matt by now, I think.
Maybe. I don't know.
But maybe some who will not.
You never know.
You never know. But anyway, that's going to be it. I'll leave some kind of video here that you can watch next. Go watch that next.
Right above my head.
Yeah, I can put it above your head, right by there. Watch that next, and I'll see you guys later.